What's up guys, we'll be here with another video. In this one I want to present you all of the great games that are coming out in August 2024 on Steam and hopefully also verified on the Steam Deck. Let's dig right in. The first game that I want to show you guys comes out on August 1st. That game is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which is a third-person action-adventure that came out during the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era. This game is a remaster with updated graphics, including better textures, effects, and some added content. The game is set in the Star Wars Legends expanded universe, and you play as former Mandalorian warrior Jango Fett, who is the father of the fan-favorite Boba Fett of the original trilogy. The original game received mixed to positive reviews back in the day, but I remember having a lot of fun with it. On the 8th of August, several games are being released, with the first one being Cat Quest 3. I haven't played any of the prior games, but I know that many people have loved them. The game is an action RPG played from a top-down perspective. It's set in an open world in which you play as a cat that has to battle through a ton of enemies, this time even in the role of a cat pirate that sails the seas and fights its enemies with its battleship. As you can see from this trailer, it also features charming graphics and a cool art style. Another game that comes out on that day is Deathbound, also an ARPG. In contrast to Cat Quest, this one takes place in a more sinister and dark world. It's a Souls-like that reminds me of the Dark Souls games with its third-person camera perspective, and a game taking place in a magical medieval world. What differentiates this game from the others is that you take control of several characters that are bound together for some reason. That gives you the possibility to switch between different characters on the fly, which lets you combine different attacks. I'm not sure about this one, but I'll keep it on my radar. We have two games left that come out on that same exact day. The next one is SteamWorld Heist 2, a very popular franchise with a lot of people loving these games. While the SteamWorld Dig games go more into the Metroidvania direction, this one will feature 2D turn-based action just like the first Heist game. As the name says, these games take place in a steampunk-themed world with lots of the game's design based on that. Two things are highlighted in the sequel: the ricochet system for bullets during combat and the brand new job system that allows you to assign roles and abilities for different playstyles. Probably the biggest game that is being released on that day is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I played through this one on my Switch OLED and I highly recommend you getting it if you haven't already. It's a wonderful 2.5D Metroidvania game that is set in the world of Prince of Persia. You play as Sargon, a young member of a warrior clan named the Immortals that travels to the cursed city of Mount Kaf to rescue the kidnapped Prince Hassan. The combat in this game is more focused on melee fights and evading attacks with dashes and counter moves. It's not an easy game, but once you learn the combat system with many new abilities that you find throughout the game, it's a lot of fun and a nice challenge. On the 15th of August, a paid DLC called The Iron Rig for the game Dredge will be released. While the base game starts out as a rather normal boat fishing title, it develops into something rather special once you put in hour after hour. This DLC, like the first one called The Pale Reach, builds on that. Here you have to assist the Iron Haven Corporation in constructing facilities that unlock new items, gadgets and more. I still have Dredge in my library, but I haven't played too many hours. What I can say though is that many people love this game and some have even spent hundreds of hours with it. The biggest title of the month comes out on the 20th of August. That game is Black Myth Wukong, which was inspired by the classical Chinese novel Journey to the West. In this action RPG you play as a monkey that is referred to as the Destined One. While it looked like a Souls-like in all the game's media that has been published initially, the game developer Game Science doesn't see it that way. Lots of recent previews have confirmed that. While the combat system looks very much like other Souls-like titles, this one apparently isn't as hard and the game world seems to be rather linear, with interspersed larger areas. What I find really interesting is the character's ability to transform into different beasts or beings like a wolfman, for example. The graphics in this game look very impressive, which is why I'm a bit concerned about the performance on the Steam Deck. It's being developed on Unreal Engine 5 though, what gives me a little bit of hope. The last big game that comes out in August is Visions of Mana by Square Enix, another ARPG. This is the fifth main title in the Mana series and is scheduled to release on August 29th. Visions of Mana is set in a fantasy world where players take control of Val, a young man from the fire village of Tinia. Like other games in the series, the title is an action RPG featuring real-time combat with enemies that inhabit the game's environment. It takes place in a semi-open world in which you're able to take control of any member of your three-person party, each with their own unique skills. Very typical for these games. I'm sure that this one will also offer lots of characters, each and every one with their own backstory with lots of twists and turns. Besides that, the game's art style looks beautiful, and that is coming from someone that's not a huge fan of Japanese RPG art style. So those were all the interesting titles, at least in my opinion, that come out in August 2024. I hope you guys found something. And if there's any other title you want to mention, write it in the comments for me and for other people to see and to know. And if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub. Constructive criticism is always appreciated. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers and bye-bye.